Hello guys, welcome back to Amstein TV. In today's video, we are going to be looking at how to secure a visa sponsorship job or fully remote jobs abroad within no time. And this is a live training I attended, guys, where everything were and was broken down to pieces for better understanding. Is your dream to move to Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Australia, Finland, United States of America, Canada, you name it. If you are dreaming to go to any of this country, this video, this training from one of the best experts from experience, and you are going to learn from this experience to be able to navigate things yourself and get it done, then you are on the right page, and we bring you the message from LUCY JEON. LUCY JEON is the author of this video, and she gave it to us for free, and I'm giving you also for free, guys. What is happening? She says how to get a higher paying job abroad with visa sponsorship or fully remote within 90 days, and within that she moved on to explain every detail. So guys, if you are new to this channel, you are highly welcome. Please do consider subscribing, liking and sharing the video as we continue to bring you just the best. So Lucy, I will leave you with Lucy. She will explain.
Yeah. Okay, let's get started. All right, welcome everyone. So if welcome everyone. I'm super pumped. As you can see, it's been a while since I hosted live training session, and I prepared a lot of valuable content for today. So make sure to be hyper focused today's session and write down all the tips and tricks that I'm going to share with you. This is like 2024 edition. So if you're looking for a job abroad with visa sponsorship or a fully remote job abroad, this is gonna be super valuable for you guys. And I want you guys, like, at the end of the training, I want you guys to have, like, have a full confidence in your dream and learn something new. So that's what I hope for from today's live training. So yeah, the topic is how to get a higher paying job abroad in just 90 days without applying for 100 plus jobs. That's it, without applying for more than 100 jobs. We don't want to apply like crazy amount of jobs, right? That's super energy draining. So that's all the things that I'm going to share with you today. All right. So, okay. So in today's training session, you're going to learn three things. First, we're going to talk about the three biggest mistakes global talent makes when looking for jobs abroad. No matter how smart you are, no matter how much experience you have, these are the three biggest and common mistakes that I've seen a lot of people tend to make, right? So we're going to talk about that and make sure that you are not making any of these mistakes, yeah? And the second, we're going to talk about how to secure certified interviews in 30 days and get a job offer in 90 days, right? I'm asked a lot of questions sometimes like, oh, Lucy, is it possible to get a job abroad in 90 days? Is it really possible? My answer is yes. As long as we really put into work, as long as you're committed to that goal, it is very possible. But to make that happen, we need to reverse engineer from our objective, which is like getting a job offer in 90 days. Then when reverse engineer, within 30 days, we need to secure 3 to 5 interviews, right? And from that interviews, we're going to secure 1 to 2 job offers, right? So that is the goal. And last but not least, you're going to learn how to be seen as the go-to expert in your domain and stand out from the competition. Yeah. So looking for getting a job in your home country versus getting a job abroad, whether it's with visa sponsorship or whether it's a fully remote job, this is a totally different game, right? So for, to be hired by an employer overseas, we need to be seen as the go-to expert, right? Because they are taking a risk. They are betting on ourselves, right? I know some of you guys, maybe you guys are already in the country, maybe you guys are already expat living abroad and you're looking for a new opportunity. Maybe you have your experience in your home country, but you don't really have any experience in this new country. Same, right? Because they are betting on you because, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but yeah. So we need to be seen as the go-to expert in our domain. So these are the three things that you're going to learn, from this training session. So if you know me, I love structure. So for today's agenda, I'll try to make, finish everything within 60 minutes, but this is agenda. So first 10 minutes, we're going to, cover intro and also I'm going to talk a little bit more about global job market trends and insights for 2024, right? We're going to spend 10 minutes on this. And then the next 15 minutes, I'm going to deep dive on 3 biggest mistakes we need to avoid that do not give us the desired outcome, right? And after that, we're going to spend 20 minutes to talk about all the strategies that you can implement to get a job abroad in 90 days. Yeah. And then, yeah, and then 10 minutes, we're going to have a Q&A session. As I said earlier, I am going to stick around for 30 more minutes for anybody who have any questions. So feel free to ask any questions in a chat now or even later, or you can even message me directly in Zoom as well. Make sure to answer everyone's questions. If you see me see my cursor move around, it's because I'm just like click a meeting for people to join. So that's that. All right. And also, I am going to talk a little bit more about this at the end, but I'm super excited because 2024 Q1 cohort for my 90-day accelerator program is opening in January 9th. I am super proud of this program, and I had such an amazing time with all my cohort members. It's been a while since I opened this cohort. I think the last cohort was January or February because I've been working just one-on-one clients for this year, but live group cohort is something that I truly enjoy. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this at the end. So if there's anyone who's really committed to getting a job in 2024 abroad, if anyone is interested in, getting help from me, and also, surrounded by like-minded people from all around the world, we have people joining from more than 25 countries. This is super cool. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later on. But even if you're not joining the cohort, even if you're just interested in today's training session, I'm giving you all the valuable resources and information, so you can count on me on that. So, all right, let's get started. All right, so as I said in the beginning, you are in the right place. You are in the right free live training today. If you want to get a job abroad with visa sponsorship, or if you want to get a fully remote job and work from anywhere, right? I asked you guys in the beginning, write in a chat, which bucket you belong to. A lot of you guys say both, right? So you are in the right place. And I'm happy that you guys joined today's training session. So, okay, I'm just going to click on the mute again. But yeah, okay. So do any of these sound like you? I'm going to, share with you 3 different kind of scenarios, and let me know in a chat whether do any of this sounds like you. So first, maybe you want to get a higher paying job in your dream country so you can create a life that you always dreamed about, right? Maybe you want to get that 6-figure salary in your dream country. It could be Canada, Australia, or UK, you name it. Yeah, like Singapore, right? You want to get a higher paying job in your dream country so you can finally have that lifestyle you always dreamed of. Or maybe you want to live in a place where you feel the happiest, right? Maybe you've been burnt out now. You've been working so much. You've been working 24/7. Now you're done with it. You just want to live in a place you just where you feel the happiest, where there's a good work-life balance, without working 24/7. You just want to enjoy a better quality of life, right? Or maybe you want to achieve this location and time freedom, right? I also, resonate with this a lot because at the end of the day, we want to be wherever we want to feel the happiest, and we want to be able to work in the most productive time for us, right? So let's say, you want to get a fully remote job, and then you want to work in Portugal, Lisbon, you want to work in Spain, or you want to work in Bali or Phuket. This belongs to this bucket. So let me know in a chat. Is a 1, 2, 3. What describes you the best? Let me know in the chat. I'm curious to hear. But yeah, so if any of these describes you, you are in a right place. And a good news is getting a higher paying job abroad can make all of that possible. So if you're dreaming of any of these scenarios, it is possible by getting a higher paying job abroad, right? So now, I want to talk a little bit more about the job market trend in 2024. My goal in the beginning, I told you guys as well, but my goal from this live training session is that I want you guys to really believe that you can get a job. You can get a higher paying job abroad, regardless how the job market is, regardless of what what people tell you, how the job market is tight, layoffs, all this kind of stuff. I want you to believe that it is very, very possible because you are looking for a job abroad. As much as you want to get a good job abroad, employers overseas, they are constantly looking for amazing, high quality talent like you guys. All right. So I'm going to talk about 2 things. Like first, I'm going to talk about jobs with visa sponsors, this job market trend. And another one is fully remote job, right? So for jobs with visa sponsorship, there are many countries you can aim for. I guess like everyone is looking for a job in a different kind of like countries, or maybe like you guys are open to, many countries. But for instance, for example, if Canada, Australia, if you're looking to move to Canada, Australia, is ideally you are gonna get the permanent residency and move there. You can get a PR first and then move there for Canada, or you can get a job offer. With that job offer, you can actually apply for PR as well. There, is a visa thing. Visa is like such a broad topic, but I just want to highlight that, Canada, Australia, if you're looking to immigrate there, if you're looking to settle down in those countries, my point here is that they are aggressively attracting newcomers and immigrants. I immigrated to Canada from South Korea, so I know that is very, very possible. And let's say I think a lot of you guys want to find a job abroad, so that you guys can work abroad for a couple of years and see how you like it, and maybe if you like it you can stick around, or you can move around, stuff like that. Then work visa or residence permit, one of the popular, the list of countries that I wrote here are the popular countries that I've seen, the clients and students that I work with. These are the countries that majority of people get jobs with visa sponsorship, right? Singapore, South Korea, the UK, Germany, the Netherlands, Sweden, Denmark, Japan, Hong Kong, Ireland, UAE, you name it. Like these are the popular countries. And then just I love data. I love like statistics, right? Facts, right? So for example, Singapore, you know, 350,000 plus. This means like, I believe like 2023 June, the data is like for people who have like work passes, like only employment pass and S pass in Singapore as of 2023 June, I believe is 350,000, more than this number, right? If you're let me know in the chat if you're looking, anyone who's looking for a job in Singapore. Singapore recently changed, updated their new visa scheme. However, I've helped like, students find jobs like this year as well. Is highly possible. So if you're looking for a job in Singapore, it just requires a different strategies. But this data proves that they're attracting a lot of high quality foreign talent, right? And South Korea as well. I saw that, like, I forgot the name. I'm sorry, but like someone says that they want, you want to move to South Korea. Highly possible too. South Korea, has been homogeneous country. However, recently, 2023 October, we launched a new visa scheme for high tech talent, right? But South Korea, I would say, like, it really depends on, especially if you're working a technical position, developer, engineer. Definitely it's got to be so much easier compared to non-technical job. But even if non-technical job, if you're like working in global sales, global business development side, that is also highly possible as well. But in South Korea, I would say it depends on the industry that you're in. So every single country that you're targeting, you need to know how the job market is, and what is a shortest occupation list, and then what are the jobs in demand in the specific country, and then from there you can kind of like set the right strategy. Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later on, but to kind of like, this data is for me to encourage you that this is very, very possible, right? In the UK as well, if you're looking to move to the UK with a job offer, skilled worker visa is the visa type that you are most likely aiming for. And I think it's 2022 November last year, skilled worker visa alone, they issued to 61,000, more than 61,000 people, right? This is huge number, right? And Germany as well, like if anyone who's interested in moving to any countries in Europe, I highly recommend considering Germany as well. Germany is pushing very, very hard to attract, global talent, right? I think 2021 or 2022, I think 2022, the government in Germany, they announced that they are trying to attract 400,000 skilled workers from abroad every year, each year, right? Yeah, so in Germany, like, although if you speak German, that's good, but you don't have to speak German. It depends on the role, but yeah, like Germany, you don't have to speak German. And then the Netherlands as well, you don't need to speak Dutch. I work in the Netherlands, I don't speak Dutch, but I handled, European market. So if anyone's interested in moving to the Netherlands, I've actually helped a lot of people, getting a job in the Netherlands. So let me know in the chat if you are interested in getting a job in the Netherlands. But Netherlands as well, like there are many different kind of like visa schemes that you can consider. In Sweden, I lived in Sweden as well, but Sweden is like growing market, right? Like when you compare actually the number between Singapore, UK, and Sweden, right? This 20,000 plus, like over 20,000 visas they issued last year and this year as well, like about like work visa wise, they issued like more than 20,000 visas this year. So when you compare this number with Singapore or UK or other countries, it might look a little bit smaller. However, it's a growing market, especially Sweden and Denmark. I would say if you have specific industry experience like renewable energy or the industries like or the biomedical, those industries, like depending on the industry, industry knowledge will be highly valued in Sweden and Denmark. So this is something that you can keep in mind. And we have Japan, Hong Kong, Ireland, UAE, etc. So I can talk about like this visa stuff for over an hour. So this is just a brief summary about the visa sponsorship. If you're looking for a job abroad with visa sponsorship, but you're thinking that, oh, is employer really like are employers really sponsoring visas? My answer is yes, they are, because they need global talent, because some countries are experiencing lack of talent, right? So I want to encourage you on this. And then if you're looking for fully remote jobs, this is a great news as well. But a lot of people, I noticed that are how to say okay, so fully remote job, this is pretty new stuff, right? So I've noticed that a lot of people, what they do is they go online and then they look for fully remote job and they apply. But like this is one of the many things that you can do. But first of all, especially if you're looking for a fully remote job, targeting the right companies is the most important thing, right? Imagine you're applying for a company that don't even, they claim themselves that they are a remote company, they're actually not, right? So, identifying those companies, and even though like that company itself is not like fully remote companies, however, some roles, they might, open to hiring that person remotely. So remote jobs, you need to actually really strategize a lot. So company wise, like three categories, right? Like fully remote company, and also there's a remote first company, and there's remote optional company. There are many different types of companies. So, but like the good news is a lot of companies are adopting this, fully remote arrangement. Some statistics to back it up here is 16% of companies operate fully remotely without a physical office, meaning this is a type of company that I said earlier, like fully remote. No one in a company goes to the physical office, right? I heard that the other day, like the companies like startups especially that were born like established like after pandemic, like or during pandemic, like 2020, they don't have an office. So we are going to see more and more companies that operate fully remotely without a physical office. This number is going to go up. So this is great news. And another good statistic that I love is 93% of employers plan to continue conducting job interviews remotely, right? So for me, when I was looking for a job, like for example, 2013, 2014, right? Even like 2018, when you think about it, people don't, employers, that was not even an option, like to interview potential candidates over Zoom or Google Meets, right? But now, like after pandemic, it becomes a norm, which is a really great news for us. So 93% employers. So if you're looking for a fully remote job or a job with visa sponsorship, you can definitely get a job without actually visiting the country, without even seeing that employer. And also, in terms of like fully remote, this, what is it called? This outlook in 2024 and above, companies have to adopt this remote work arrangement because, according to statistics, like 61% employees would quit their current job for a full remote opportunity. I didn't include it here, but I also saw the statistics that some people are willing to cut their pay if the company offers a fully remote job, right? So it's on the rise, right? And also if you are also like if you're looking for a fully remote job, you might be thinking of working fully remotely in your home country for an employer overseas, or you want to get a full remote job so that you can travel around the world. You can just like go to different countries and travel and work, right? Then that's a great news is like 58 countries all around the world you can work because they provide, digital nomad visas and remote work visas, like you name it, right? Like there are so many countries in Europe, they offer this game, and Europe, not only Europe, South America, Asia, so many different places in the world. So as long as we have, we know which companies to target, we set the right strategies around this, this is very, very possible. And I want to tell you one thing that if you don't, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit in detail soon, but I've been living abroad and working abroad for the past decade and for 10 years. Living abroad and working abroad has been the best thing that has ever happened to me. And that experience is so rewarding. So if you are thinking of maybe like moving out of your home country, or maybe you already moved abroad before, but now you kind of want to, take a new adventure and get out of your comfort zone and start your new chapter of your life, I say really go for it, because this living abroad and working abroad experience has opened my eye completely, and I can't really thankful enough for this experience. So yes, that's that. Okay, so let me introduce myself briefly here. If you don't know me, well, my name is Lucy. Hey guys, welcome to the free training session today. I'm originally from South Korea, and I've lived in 5 countries: South Korea, Sweden, Singapore, the Netherlands, and Canada. And now I am location independent. I can be wherever I want. So that's me. And among these countries, I worked abroad in Singapore, in the Netherlands, and Canada. So while I was working in these countries, I worked abroad as a full-time employee, like 100% on site. And also I've worked hybrid, and also I worked as a fully remote employee as well. Not only that, I was actually, worked as an independent contractor as well, for 2 different startups, right? So working, one of the things that I kind of want to add on here is that if you want to work fully remotely, there are so many different paths you can take. But simply saying, if you want to get a job, at an employer side, one is you either get a fully remote job as a full-time employee, permanent employment, or you can get a job as an independent contractor, meaning it can be, quote unquote freelancer or independent contractor. But you're working for them, a full-time employee, but it's just that, you're not a permanent employment. Some companies prefer doing that way because of the legality issue and logistic issue. Usually if companies don't have their office in your current location, they, unless they hire another company to do those, hiring process, they might want to, hire you as an independent contractor. So my point here is that there are so many ways you can make it happen, as long as you are being seen as a solution to them, meaning as long as you being seen as the go-to expert and the person they need, they will make it happen. So, which I'm going to share with you all the formula you can implement, all the strategy you can implement after today's training. So stay tuned for that. But let me continue with my introduction. So yeah. So, and also I've worked in the tech industry for the past 9+ years. I worked for companies like SAP, Palo Alto Networks, and also tech startups in Series A, B, D, etc. So if anyone's interested in working for tech companies, if you have any questions, message me, and I'll answer any questions you might have. And I worked in tech sales positions, and I was involved in deals from $1,000 purchase order to $1 million deal. So this is my corporate career. And about 2 years ago, I launched my business, and here I am today. But before I transitioned to the tech industry, I know after this fully remote work, this outlook nowadays we have, a lot of people want to change their industry. A lot of people want to transition their industries to something that allow them to work from anywhere in the world. And it happened to be a lot of companies that allow this fully remote work arrangement happen to be tech industry. So if any of you guys are wanting to transition your industries to tech industry, that is also highly possible, because I've done it as well. I worked in journalism and then transitioned into the hospitality industry and then the tech industry, and I stuck with the tech industry. So anyone who's interested in working in tech industry, well, nowadays, you know what, before, tech companies, tech industry is one of the industries, but nowadays even manufacturing companies, they are becoming a tech industry, because every company needs to experience digital transformation, and somehow every company becomes a tech company. So anyhow, so that's me. And I want to tell you that, I worked abroad in different countries. I transitioned into the tech industry. I worked, this experience, not because I'm someone who's so special that company wants to sponsor a visa or whatever, those kind of stuff. I first of all, I believe everyone is special. Everyone has unique selling point. But it's not like I have a skill that no one has, nothing like that, right? but I was able to get a job in Singapore without work experience in tech. And because, as I said earlier, I worked in hospitality and journalism before. I had zero experience in tech, but I was able to get a job in Singapore while I was working in Korea. And they actually flew me to Singapore. They actually paid for a flight ticket. They actually gave me this, the residence as well for a month before I found a new place and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's that. And then in the Netherlands as well, as I said earlier, my career has been all the time client facing role, right? But so when I was trying to get a job in the Netherlands, a lot of people told me that it's going to be super difficult for me to find a job in the Netherlands because I don't even speak Dutch. I don't even speak any other European languages. And I happen to be in the client facing position. How are you going to be a salesperson in the EMEA market, right? I'm not even a European, right? But I was able to get 3 different job offers within, 2 job offers within a month. And within 2 months, I was able to get like 3 different job offers, right? And I actually got like the best salary, the last job offer that I got. I ended up not working there, but it's a long story short, I actually got really good salary job in the Netherlands, which I didn't really imagine that is possible for me. But actually, not only me, after helping my clients and students get jobs, especially in the Netherlands, I've seen that, wow, like Netherlands, like so many European countries are really open to hiring, global talent. So if you're interested in moving to Europe, I really want to encourage you that is really possible. So don't give up on your dream, even if, you don't see the light in the tunnel now. All right. And then Canada as well. If anyone I know that I forgot the name, but like I saw in a chat earlier that someone is in Toronto. But if you are working in Canada or if you are thinking of moving to Canada, you might heard of this a lot, that you need to have Canadian experience to work in Canada, right? Well, kind of true. Well, but I would argue that, well, okay, what I would say that is, it would definitely be helpful. However, in my opinion, they're it's not a must, right? And it's changing nowadays, especially, in recent months, right? But like, even in Canada, I was able to get a job within a month without having Canadian experience, right? And I'm even a client facing position. So if you are working in a role where you don't even need to meet clients, you don't even need to kind of having conversations with, like, you are in a back office work or operations or technical positions, is very, very possible, right? I want to encourage you guys on that. And also fully remote job as well. Fully remote job is another game, I was able to find fully remote job without even me looking for those jobs, right? We're going to talk a little bit more about personal branding. Well, personal branding is not what you might think, but I'm going to talk a little bit more later on. But yeah, so I was able to get like, fully remote jobs without me even looking for them. So yeah, so whatever obstacles and challenges that you might face right now, you might think that, oh, maybe this is not possible for me. Maybe I'm dreaming too big. Maybe the job market is really bad. Maybe it's not possible. I want you to drop that thought and, believe that this is like getting a job, really good job abroad is really possible for you too. And the fact that you are investing your precious time today to join my training shows that you are committed. So I love that. And more importantly, we're going to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes and strategies after this slide, but more importantly, I was able to throughout, like, that's why that's why what I do, that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because I really truly believe in getting a job abroad and working abroad and living abroad, and really, the bridging the gap between the global talent and also companies overseas, because those two parties need each other, right? And from this experience, I was able to double and tripled my earnings within 3 years, which I didn't even expect, which I didn't even think that is possible for me before. And as I said earlier, I enjoyed the relocation package when I first moved to Singapore. And also, not only me, about 2 years ago, I decided to, create my own business because I truly, truly believe in my mission on helping people find jobs abroad. And I was fortunate enough to work with global talent from more than 25 countries. And people who work with me, very diverse career background. I work with, a student or a client with 1 year experience to up to more than 20 plus years of experience. I work with C-level executives and VP level vice president as well. And some of them work at, EY, AMS, KPMG, IBM, Google, G Healthcare, etc. And any of you guys have are Hey Globally users, thank you for supporting Hey Globally. This is a new company that I launched in May. I'm very, very passionate about Hey Globally. 2024 we have some exciting partnerships coming up, so I'm super excited. But we grew Hey Globally with 43,000 global talent from more than 50 countries. As a matter of fact, I didn't spend $0 in advertising. So thank you for supporting Hey Globally, and exciting news are coming up soon. Anywho, all right, that's me and intro. We're done now, and let's get into the real juicy tips now. So, as I said briefly, I kind of hinted a little bit on the strategies and formulas that I really preach a lot is the magnetic talent formula. It might sound a little bit cheesy. I made it. I love this attracting and magnetized energy. The magnetic talent formula, meaning basically you are being seen as the go-to expert. You are being seen as their solution to solve employers' problems. So they have no choice but to hire you to solve their problem. So I truly, truly preach this. And this is the way how you can get a job, higher paying job abroad with visa sponsorship, or a fully remote job for employers without seeing you in person, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit more about each step, but the step one is validate stage. And then step two is attracting. And step three is selling, right? At the end of the day, to get a job offer abroad, we need to sell ourselves, right? We need to sell our skills. We need to sell the vision that companies can have by hiring us. Yeah. So the magnetic talent formula episode, remember this formula, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about after I share with you 3 biggest mistakes. Yeah. So validate, attract, sell. So this is the formula that I preach. Oh yeah. And then this is by implementing this formula, you can get a job in just 90 days. These are the students who joined the previous cohort that I earlier mentioned in the beginning. When they joined the cohort, they were like, oh, I don't know, I've tried, but I don't know, I haven't even got interviews. Maybe I got one interview, but it's just going nowhere. Maybe it's not possible for me. But within 90 days, the process from applying for jobs to the visa application, it took 90 days, even less sometimes. One of the students, she got it done within 30 days. So as you can see, I just want to show you the possibility, because I heard so many times from so many people that, oh, would company really sponsor a visa? Maybe I should apply for internal transfer, which is good as well. But that's not the only way. Yeah. So as you can see from here, visa won't be a problem. Yeah. And then my visa is approved. I screenshotted it because I want to show you this, because it is really possible. Yes. All right. Then why are we, if it's that if getting a job abroad is highly possible, as Lucy said, but why am I not getting a job? Right? You might be thinking, okay, I have been applying for many jobs. I know I have so much to offer. I know I am quite qualified, but why am I not getting a job? Right? So let's talk about the must avoid 3 biggest mistakes that many global talents tend to make, no matter how smart we are and no matter how much work experience we have. I've, seen, people with more than 15 years of experience, 20 years of experience, super senior executives also make this mistake as well. So it doesn't, even if you make one of these mistakes that I'm going to share with you, it doesn't mean that, you're doing something super wrong or anything like that. It's just normal. Especially getting a job abroad and getting a fully remote job is something new. It's something especially if you haven't done it ever, it's definitely a new skill that you need to learn, right? So let me share with you the 3 mistakes. But before that, let me just sip some water. I'd be like, I wish to see everyone's face and kind of interact with everyone. But I'm screaming to my webcam, but I enjoy it. I love it. All right. This is something that I love about live training session. I probably, I love it. So I should probably do more in the near future. But anyway, let's continue. So among the 3 mistakes, the first mistake is targeting wrong companies and jobs. Okay. I think I briefly talk about this before, but targeting wrong jobs. So for example, if you're looking for a job that with visa sponsorship or even fully remote job, if you're targeting companies that don't even, first of all, some companies cannot even sponsor your visa. For example, it depends on the country. If you're looking for a job in the UK or even in the Netherlands as well, depending on the visa that you're applying for, if the company is not licensed, they can't even sponsor you. No matter how smart you are, no matter how much they like you, they just can't, right? Or even fully remote job as well. Some companies, they just, because of, as I said earlier, because of the legality issue, they have to hire someone, who are based in the country they're located, right? So if you're, if you keep like, continue targeting wrong companies that cannot give you what you want, we're just wasting our time. And a lot of things that I've noticed a lot is that a lot of people tend to think that, oh, like, only big companies can sponsor my visa. Only, especially if you're looking for a visa sponsorship, oh, I need to find a job in a big company so that, they can sponsor visa, yada, yada, yada. Very small companies, not small companies, like, but people had to have this kind of like perception, which is absolutely not true. Because yes, big organizations, they do a lot of global mobility, meaning they do a lot of internal employee transfer. However, it doesn't mean that only big companies can do that. I've seen that some big companies, even though they are eligible to sponsor the visa, but they opt not to do so. So you need to know which company is the right companies you need to target, right? And in terms of jobs as well, a lot of people, let's say, a lot of people who come to me has a lot of different amazing experiences, right? So you have like, this digital marketing experience, you have this communications experience, you have PR experience, right? You have this like within like 5 years or 6 years, you have like so many valuable experiences. Now you think that, oh, maybe I should find PR job, or maybe I should find communications job, or maybe I should find marketing job, right? So, it's very easy for us to think that way because we don't want to miss out on opportunities. However, the risk that we're taking is that we become generalists instead of becoming a specialist. When it comes to finding a job abroad, as I said earlier, employers are betting on us by sponsoring a visa or by hiring us without seeing us fully remotely. Think about it. For employers hiring someone fully remotely, they don't even have a control. They don't even know if you are going to work during working hour, those kind of like control thing, right? So we need to be seen as the specialist, not the generalist. So I always preach that, if you are, let's say if your big umbrella is marketing, okay, so marketing experience, good, great. So from marketing experience, what's your subcategory? Okay, is it digital marketing? Okay, great. But digital marketing is super, again, very broad. And then like one of the students who joined the cohort before, she's told me like, oh, like, but Lucy, I have digital marketing experience, but I've done like content, I've done social media, I've done SEO, I've done this and this. But then like, by only targeting digital marketing position for 5 months before she joined the cohort, she was not able to find a job. She was looking for a job in Singapore back then. But we realized that her specialty is really the SEO, even though she was not only doing SEO. And after that, we tweaked everything. We're going to talk a little bit more about the personal branding later on, but we took everything and she was able to find a job in Singapore within 90 days as an SEO, a specialist. So something that, I recommend you to think about this, like companies and jobs that you can target. So the good news is many companies hire talent overseas, right? Many companies sponsor visas. As I said earlier, if you just joined, maybe you might have missed, I'm going to share the recording later on, but some statistics I shared with you earlier, right? Many companies hire, offer visa sponsorship and also fully remote positions. Actually, there are more than 1,000 companies. I have a list of these companies who can offer you this, right? So there are many, many companies. That's the great news. However, the bad news that we have is if we don't know which companies to target, if we don't know who can sponsor our visa or who offers the fully remote this arrangements, we're just like wasting our time. No matter how amazing you are, your resume would not work because it's just not aligned, right? So this is good and bad news, but let's focus on the good news. Good news is many companies hire talent overseas, and there are a lot of great opportunities for us. Yeah. So before we dive into the second mistake, I want you guys to really consider your employer's mindset, right? So especially when it comes to applying for a job abroad and applying for a fully remote job, we need to be able to answer this question, which is, why would they go through all the hassles for me, right? So why would they hire me instead of a local candidate? Why? Like realistic, why, right? Usually, broadly speaking, there are 3 different reasons why employers overseas would go through all the hassles and hire, foreign talent. First of all, they want to hire high quality talent overseas, right? As I said earlier, depending on some countries, they are, they're experiencing, the labor shortage, right? Especially in certain industries. So they want to hire high quality talent overseas, right? So if you have like certain industry knowledge that are highly in demand in certain countries, that's amazing. Or maybe not even not in the industry, but like some of the skills that you have are one of the shortage occupations or one of the jobs in demand, then that's great, right? So they want to look for high quality talent overseas. And this is something that that I want to mention as well. Let's say, I say that, now like after pandemic, more and more people want to work fully remotely, right? Even people are willing to cut their salary to be able to work fully remotely and to work in different countries. So when you apply this logic to, let's say you're looking for a job abroad with visa sponsorship, when you think about it, let's say you are an employer in Germany. They are looking for a really good high quality talent in, I don't know, in as a data analyst or engineer or even marketing as well, sales, you name it. But then like their local candidates all want to go abroad and fully remotely, or other people as well. But then they are experiencing a lack of like high quality talent overseas. So you can kind of like, if you're looking for two different paths, you can definitely take advantage of this situation as well. This is something that I believe in. And then the second one is, companies would go through all the hassles to hire us because of your specific market knowledge, including language skills sometimes. It really depends on the country that you're targeting, but especially for the, countries like, for example, countries like the Singapore or the Netherlands or Ireland. Like, for example, Singapore is APEC, hub of APEC, or Ireland or Netherlands, which are the hub of EMEA. These kind of countries, if you speak like, especially Singapore, if you speak like one of the Southeast Asian languages, that is like also, considered as a huge bonus, right, for employers to hire you. And also in EMEA market as well, if you speak like, one of the European languages, that could be, one of the strengths that you can kind of like highlight as well. And not only language itself, but even if you don't speak a specific language, if you have specific market knowledge, like, if you happen to, let's say, I always like, say this, like, let's say you maybe like, I work with the this client of mine who's based in the US, but she was looking for a job in Singapore, and not only Singapore, but like in Asia region. But like she was saying that, but I don't have any experience in Asia, but we dig deeper. But even though she never really worked solely on APAC or Asia market, but she actually collaborated with a lot of her cross-functional teams and also some of the stakeholders or partners in other regions in Asia as well. So we made sure to highlight that experience as well. So when you actually really dig deeper, you definitely have some sort of like experience and market knowledge that you can highlight in your resume and the LinkedIn and some of the personal branding strategies that we're going to talk a little bit later. So, and the last but not least, shortage occupations, right? So depending on the country that you're targeting, each country has slightly different list of shortage occupations. So definitely, if your position is one of the shortage occupation, we need to take a look. If anyone's interested in Australia, let me know in the chat if anyone who's interested in Australia. Australia has a list of shortage occupations. It's a long list, so definitely check it out as well. But yeah, so these are the three broad reasons why employers would go through all the hassles to hire a foreign talent instead of their local candidates. All right, second mistake. Okay, it's already an hour. I'm sorry if if you guys have to leave. I try to be mindful of the time, but like it's taking a little longer. But I try to speed up now. But okay, so mistake number 2 is putting all eggs in one basket, right? So putting all eggs in one basket, meaning like, for example, if you've been doing only one thing to get a job abroad, that's you putting all eggs in one basket. What example can be just applying for jobs online, right? This applying for jobs online might have been working very well like 3 years ago, even 2 years ago. But applying for jobs online, I don't mean that it's not working. It is working, but especially if you're looking for a job abroad, it shouldn't be the only thing that you are doing. Yeah. So, this is number 1 question that I get asked a lot, right? Hey, Lucy, which job board should I use? I'm looking for a job in the UK. Which job board should I use? I'm looking for a job in Singapore. Which job board should I use, right? Job boards are important, right? Like you need to know, where jobs are, where you can find opportunities depending on the country that you're targeting. However, this is not the only thing that we should care when we look for jobs abroad. I encourage everyone to use job boards as your market research tool. Yes, you are going to use it as, when you apply for a job as well, but like you can use these job boards as your market research tool. Yeah. So the good news is applying for jobs only. If you've been only applying for jobs online, don't worry. Applying for jobs online is one of the 5 ways to get a job abroad, and you can implement the rest 4 different strategies today after today's training session. So don't feel bad if you've been applying for jobs only, you haven't really received any interviews. Don't worry, because it's just one of the many methods you've taken. So there are many other ways you can find jobs abroad. So that's the good news. And bad news is, because we are so, as a human being, we are afraid of doing something that we are not used to, right? And we are not really, everyone is not naturally not good at, getting out of our comfort zone, because it's not natural for us. So the bad news is, if you've never done this before, if you've been, I know like some of the students in the corporate course, she's only getting jobs like in certain way through networks or through, applying for jobs. But then for her, when she's looking for a job abroad, implementing different strategies is something super new. So when you've never done this before, you would not know where to start. Even though you have some ideas, you feel uneasy doing it, right? And also, your first impression is important, especially when you're looking for a job abroad, because you don't really get to meet these people in person. So these are the good news and the bad news. But again, let's focus on the good news, which is, if you've been only applying for jobs online, if that's one method that you've implemented so far, don't worry, you've got 4 other ways to get a job abroad. All right. So mistake number 3 is that I've seen a lot is not selling ourselves persuasively. Okay. One thing that I really want to highlight here is that many people, okay, so essentially getting a job is, we need to sell ourselves and sell our skills and experiences and expertise to get a job offer. But many people tend to think that selling happens during the interview. But yes, it happens during the interview. Interview is a place where we sell our skills and sell our experience. It's a place where we are going to pitch what the employers want to hear. Yeah. However, selling actually starts off before the interview. I don't know. Have you ever experienced where, for example, when you apply for a job online, you submit your application, but some companies have these like boxes where you need to write down to submit before submitting the application. They usually ask this kind of questions, right? Like, oh, tell me more about yourself, or hey, why do you think you're a good fit for this role? Those kind of questions. Like, hey, just write it in 200 words or something like that. Your selling skills start from there. Yeah. And there are many other, personal branding, your LinkedIn profile optimization, that also as well. But yeah, and also, when you apply for a job, they usually ask like, what's your expected salary as well. Everything selling starts from the beginning when you apply for a job, not just in the interview. And also, the key mistake that I've seen a lot of people tend to make in this stage is, putting employers on a pedestal, especially when we're looking for jobs abroad. We tend to think that, oh yeah, I really want to move to this country, so I'll do whatever it takes. Yeah. So like sometimes we undersell ourselves. Oh, this amount of salary is okay. We're trying to kind of accommodate a lot. We're trying to like put them on a pedestal, like meaning, oh, I want this so much, so I'll do whatever, right? This is like key mistakes that I've seen a lot of people tend to make mistake. And another thing is like, especially during the interview is super important, especially looking for jobs abroad, because depending on the countries, but like some European countries, actually, they not only European countries, but like a lot of companies overseas, they're worried if they are sponsoring your visa, if it's their first time moving to that country, they're worried whether you can adapt to this new culture, new country well, whether you have any friends here, whether you've been here before, all those things, right? So interview is super important, and then really pitching and persuading yourself well to the employers is super important. But like a lot of people tend to only explain and summarizing what we have done, right, which is also important as well, but like only doing that is not a future pacing, right? You're not letting them visualize of the tangible results that you are going to you're going to bring to the table when you join the company, right? And also not selling ourselves in a persuasive way. So no storytelling skills. You're just like explaining things and summarizing things. These are, main key mistakes. Yeah. So, okay. So I'm gonna tell you here what we can do, the different strategies. We talked about like 3 different mistakes so far, and now I'm gonna share with you what you can do to find to get like job interviews within like 30 days. And then get a job offer within 90 days. But let's recap really quickly, because like it's, I've talked a lot. So three biggest mistakes, let's recap. The first mistake is targeting wrong companies and jobs. Yeah. So especially when we're looking for jobs abroad and fully remote job, we need to identify the right companies to target. If we continue to target wrong companies, they only hire local people. They only can hire people in their like based in their country. We are wasting our time. And also job wise, really think about your expertise in your niche. Become a specialist rather than becoming a generalist. Employers overseas, they're not going to go through all the hassles just to hire a generalist. Yeah, this is something that we need to think about. And then mistake number two is putting all eggs in one basket, right? Time has changed. Maybe like before, applying for jobs online is the probably the best way or only way, one of the biggest ways to find a job. But however, especially when it comes to jobs abroad and fully remote jobs, putting all eggs in one basket is not going to work, right? Meaning, especially just applying for jobs online. Hey, I'm going to apply for 50 jobs this week and it's numbers game. No, putting all eggs in one basket is not going to work. So we need to implement different, strategies to find a job abroad, which I'm going to share with you shortly. And missing number three is not selling ourselves persuasively. Yeah. So as I said, selling definitely, interview is a place where we sell our skills and experience so that employers can visualize or imagine the tangible result that you're going to bring to the table. However, selling doesn't start from the interview. Selling starts from your application stage as well. And also selling actually, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the personal branding, but selling actually starts from you not doing anything. Selling starts from your LinkedIn profile, or selling starts from a place where people can find you, right? Selling actually starts from, even you don't do anything, it starts from there. That's how we, as I mentioned earlier, that's one of the strategies that I preach in the magnetic talent formula. Yeah. So not selling ourselves persuasively and putting employers on the pedestal and just explaining what we have done and achievements, which is important as well. But doing this only is not going to give us a higher paying job abroad. All right. So now here's what we are going to do. I'm going to speed up a little bit from now on. So yeah, here's what we are going to do. Okay. By the way, if anyone needs to leave, I understand. We have like 93 people. So, now I appreciate you guys' time. But if anyone needs to go, I understand. I'm going to send everyone a recording, within 24 hours. But of course, I prefer you guys stick around and be live with me and ask me questions at the end. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, so here's what we're going to do. So as I said, the magnetic talent formula, right? As I said, there are three different steps: validate, attract, sell. Yeah. So validate, attract, sell. What do I mean by that? So let's talk about validate stage. Yeah. Validate means you're going to validate first of all, this is the most important thing, right? Like for you to identify, as I said, in the mistake section, a lot of people tend to make mistakes about not targeting the right jobs or not targeting the right companies. But if we don't validate our expertise and niche, if we don't know our expertise and niche, if we don't know the market demand in the countries that we're targeting, we cannot even identify the right companies and right jobs. So this is the most important foundation, most important stage. This is one of the critical stage, I would say. So validate stage, your expertise in niche and market demand. And also, I firmly believe that. And also, after working with many, students and clients, that like everyone has their unique selling point. Everyone has this incredible value, right? You don't have to have like super crazy skill to be known as the expert. When you actually dig deeper, which actually one of the things that I really enjoy about my work, I love finding one's zone of genius, because I believe and I know that everyone has their zone of genius. Yeah. So really validate your expertise and niche and really connect that with the market demand. Yeah. Imagine you have expertise. I'm just like throwing out there. You have this expertise in growth marketing, but let's say you're looking for a job in a country where there's no growth marketing positions, for example. Yeah, then even if you have great expertise in niche, that's just not aligned with the market demand. That's not aligned with what the market can offer. So we need to really spend enough time to really validate what this is, right? And after you validate this, everything is going to puzzle in. Yeah. So okay, so instead of applying for any jobs available in your job function. As I said earlier, if you're looking for a digital marketing job, instead of applying for any digital, okay, today I'm applying for digital marketing. Tomorrow I'm applying for social media. The day after I'm applying for, I don't know, different types of like digital marketing position. No, the answer is no. We don't want to be seen as a generalist. Yeah. So applying for any jobs available in your function at companies that don't offer what you need. Yeah. So instead of doing that, we are going to looking for the right companies that value your expertise and niche and offer visa sponsorship and or fully remote work arrangements. And instead of you become generalists and one of the many candidates, which a lot of people, a lot of smart global talent make mistake because we just unintentionally become being seen as a generalist because we have so much to offer. We have this marketing experience, we have customer success experience, we have business development experience, or like so many different experiences. So we have so much to offer. We don't want to miss out on any opportunities that we end up becoming a generalist while thinking that, expanding different options will give us more opportunities, but actually it's not. It's totally opposite, right? The more you really focus on your niche and your expertise, you're going to get more interviews. I can give you my word on this. I can guarantee you on this. So instead of becoming a generalist and one of the many candidates, we are going to be known as the go-to expert. We're gonna be known to be a specialist in your domain, and you become the company's solution. Yeah. When companies hire employees, especially overseas, they have a problem. It could be, as I said earlier, it could be they are expanding into a new market or they are looking for high quality talent. Whatever their reason being, they have a problem. That's why they are looking for talent overseas instead of looking for a talent in their home country, which is so much easier for them. Yeah. So they have a problem they need to resolve and you become the solution. So even if like they have a candidate who they are interviewing in their home country, in like let's say employer in Germany, they have German candidate, and you have a candidate in Singapore, for example, even if they have to go through all the hassles to hire you, but you become their solution so that they can see that by hiring you, oh, we can actually solve this problem. We can actually scale faster. We can actually generate more revenues, yada, yada, yada. Then you become their solution. So for them to go through hassles, paperwork is nothing for them. So that's the goal that we need to make it happen, especially when looking for jobs abroad. So looking for jobs abroad versus looking for jobs in home country is very different. It requires a lot of like strategies go into. So here's a little graphic. So here's a bridge. Yeah. And this person is you. Yeah. So this is point A, left side, and right side is point B. Point A and point B is where your employer is currently at. So point A is where your employer is at currently. Maybe they are trying to do something where, for example, when I found a job in the Netherlands, one of the job offer was actually they didn't advertise it as a person who's going to handle Australian market, who's going to handle Singapore market. They didn't advertise it in that way. However, the fact that I had work experience in Singapore, they gave me a job offer because, hey, we are a growing startup. By hiring you, we don't even have to hire another person who can handle Australia market, for example, right? And we can actually grow faster in Australia and Singapore because we now have this person who has experience in these markets, right? So every single employer who are looking for talent overseas, foreign talent, not the local candidate, they have a problem they want to resolve, right? That's where they are point A. And by hiring you here, they want to cross the bridge. And you are the person who's gonna be the solution for them. So by hiring you, they were in the point A, and now they're gonna move to the point B. So yeah. So only one thing, if there's one thing that you can remember this conversation is I want you to remember this. Instead of becoming one of the candidates that they're interviewing, become the solution for them. So by hiring you, they have no choice but to hire you. And then to achieve this, it doesn't mean that you have to have like this crazy special skill whatsoever, right? That's why knowing your expertise and niche and knowing how job market is in the specific country that you're targeting is number one. And then being able to sell it, from the application process and also during the interview is the key. once you decode all of this, it's a matter of time. You can get a job within 90 days. I've seen many people doing that, and I've done it as well. So I encourage you that, this is very, very possible. Okay. And just to encourage you with some proof that it is possible for you is that one of the, clients that I work with, yeah. So I think it was, yes. So yeah. So like this one was, yeah, like by kind of like showing herself as a solution on, I think that she mentioned like it was LinkedIn. Yeah. So recruiter contacted me. No, it's not on LinkedIn. It's actually another platform that we tried together. But we highlighted her kind of expertise in healthcare. And then she got the interview because they are looking for someone who has like, this industry expertise as well. Right. And then, yeah. And then your resume was a great match for the manager role. And then this person I work with, again, as I said earlier, he also has a lot of great experience. He has like marketing. He has like, he has like growth marketing. He has a product marketing. He has like a lot of amazing experience, really great profile. But then the problem is when you, when you highlight all these experience in the resume, when you apply for the roles, you are not being seen as the specialist in the specific role. And then we worked together. We kind of like edited his CV, and now he focused more on growth roles because it's not only about the experience you have, it's also about the experience and also plus what you enjoy the most throughout your experience as well. And then from there, we can also kind of highlight that as well. So yeah, and then he says like he has getting more interviews. And then yeah, so like this is, basically you become a solution, for employers to move from point A to point B. It can be revenue generation, or it could be brand awareness, or it could be developing their software faster, or it could be, I don't know, it could be anything. You can be a solution. Okay, now let's talk about the second step attract, my favorite one. So grow your personal branding. So basically attract, as you can see from this verb, basically attract is magnetize people to be attracted to you. So you don't, you're not necessarily just like applying and throwing your resume out there and hoping that you're going to get interviews, right? We've all been there, done that, right? So we want to make sure that you're attracting the right employers to contact you for interviews and, job offer in the end. So my, recommendation is definitely growing your personal branding. However, a lot of people think that personal branding in a not the way that I believe in, which is when people hear personal branding, actually including me, when I first heard of personal branding, I was like I was like very intimidated. Oh my God, personal branding. Do I have to be influencer? Do I have to create something? Do I have to be like, do something in public? But like, oh my gosh, like I am shy. I can't do that. Like I was thinking of personal branding in that way before as well. But it's actually not that one. Personal branding is actually what people talk about you when you're not in the room with them. So that is a personal brand, definition of personal branding that I believe in. So it's not just about like how you are being seen in public. It can happen in your current office as well. So what people talk about you when you're not in the same room with them. And also, let's say, you recently, let's say, went for the networking event, or you recently had, I don't know, your friend of friend introduced you to someone for a job opportunity. Or maybe you already had a job opportunity with this employer, right? What people talk about you when you're not in the same room with them. This is a personal branding. So to achieve the successful personal branding that we want to achieve, first of all, we want to know what we want to be known for. The kind of like usually the alter ego that we want to put out there. What do you want to be known for? What do you want to be perceived by these potential employers, right? So what people talk about you when you're not in the same room with them, that's the personal branding. And personal branding includes so many things. Yeah. So first of all, personal branding. So it starts from your resume. So your resume, cover letter, usually it depends on the country. Okay. So like, countries like, for example, like Singapore, usually cover letter is not required, but these days is more required these days. So I would recommend, no matter which country you're applying for a job, especially if you're applying for a job in Europe, cover letter is a must. So resume, cover letter, depending on your role, but like I recommend always preparing a portfolio as well. You can easily create in Canva or other platforms as well. And website and or GitHub if you are a developer engineer, or if you're, data analyst, definitely, leverage GitHub. If you're not, let's say you're a data analyst, but you don't really use GitHub that much, at least you can create something on in a portfolio to show your ability to use like certain kind of programming languages, stuff like that. You don't have to do everything. What I'm saying here is that if your personal branding starts from your resume and your cover letter, all of these things, right? As I shared with you briefly earlier, which is about like, this one of my clients that I work with, he has experienced product marketing and also the what was that? The growth marketing and all these things. By editing, by kind of like really honing in the growth marketing position, because A, this is something that he's really enjoying it, and B, that is what market demand is. That's what market needs right now. Then, he's getting more interviews because his personal branding works like that. So it starts from resume, cover letter. And also I highly, 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 highly emphasize on LinkedIn profile optimization. This is super important. Once you optimize your LinkedIn profile, you are, increasing 5x or even 10x times of like interview invites. I am a huge, huge believer in LinkedIn profile optimization. LinkedIn, you can I mean, honestly, we don't have a lot of time, so I'm trying to keep it short from this. But LinkedIn profile, the main purpose of LinkedIn is two. One is people, like when after you apply for a job, people sometimes like they go to your LinkedIn and see like if like your experience and stuff like that. That's one way. And another way is, as I said, attract and magnetize, people to reach out to you, right? So like it's an SEO engine. So consider your LinkedIn profile as a search and like, as a searchable web page. So like the more kind of like keywords or more skills that you highlight, and more experience that you highlight that you want to attract, you are more likely to be searched. So LinkedIn profile, it requires an hour session. So I'm just going to keep it short here. But LinkedIn optimization. And also, as I said earlier, tell me about yourself. Why did you apply for this role? Question boxes. Some, when you apply for jobs, some applications, they require, or prefer sometimes like ask you to write down some boxes. I love ChatGPT. In the cohort, I have a separate section for the, ChatGPT as well. But using ChatGPT is great. However, first of all, we need to know our expertise and niche, and then we need to connect with those two. So definitely, but like, tell me about yourself. Why did you apply for this role? Make sure to write down these question boxes in a persuasive way. And also outreach messages to employers, right? This is one of the other ways to get job interviews, finding out the right companies, and then, identifying the, right hiring manager, recruiters, and reaching out to them, right? And then also like, creating or engaging with content as well. If you're, I recommend being more active on LinkedIn. You don't have to create anything, but you can engage, and you can still increase your personal branding without even creating anything. So there are many activities that you can do. And networking also, going to a networking event or networking with people in the industry is important. But what is more important is just going to networking event, just doing networking alone is not going to give you any result. Before attending any networking events, before actually expanding our network, we need to ask ourselves, as I said earlier, what do I want to be known for? What do I want people to perceive me, right? That's the purpose of networking, right? That's why even if like some people go to networking events like 10 or 20 times a month, there's no result, right? But like if you are really if you really like, know how you want to be seen, what your personal branding message is, you're going to make the most out of it, networking event. So that's something that personal branding includes. Okay. And as we said, like a lot of majority of you guys, I guess like all of you, majority of you guys have LinkedIn profile. So I have some kind of like screenshots here. What can happen for you as well after optimizing your LinkedIn profile? That shows your expertise and niche. So as you said, like just like I received the inbound, meaning like inbound message, LinkedIn messages for the first time in 3 months, right? So like by really highlighting your zone of genius, it's a matter of time for you to get these messages. So you don't have to apply for 100+ jobs, right? And also like, 2 recruiters already reached out to me post our LinkedIn revamp, right? LinkedIn is huge across, all around the world. And if you're looking for a job in Korea, it's a little bit different. I'll tell you a little bit more later on. But any English speaking countries or any European countries, very, very LinkedIn is a must optimization, optimize LinkedIn. What? It's a tool that we need to optimize. And last but not least, yes, like for internal, communications role. Yeah, it makes me feel confident and stuff like. It's also confident as well, right? So the more you hear from like people who want to interview you, it boosts your confidence as well. Oh, wow, like people see me as an expert. People want to hire me even from overseas, right? So it will give you more opportunities, but at the same time, boost your confidence level as well. And just to show you some screenshots as well, by growing your personal branding, these can happen too. This is my screenshots that I've received. I received like messages from Google and career opportunity in Amsterdam, like Citrix and Tableau, which was acquired by Salesforce, and IBM, and also this one as well, like this 2022. I was not even looking for a job back then. I had my own business, but then this co-founder reached out to me because she was looking for a strong, I guess, like a salesperson to join her company to scale their company faster, because I optimized my LinkedIn with a lot of startup sales experience. So like when they're looking for a person who has been working in a hyper growth startups and scale ups, they want to reach out to that salespeople. So bottom line, personal branding is very important. Personal branding includes a lot of things. It starts from resume, cover letter. One of the things that you can remember from this slide, the most important thing is definitely resume, and also LinkedIn profile optimization. And also, everything is important here, but like when you attend networking events or when you reach out to recruiters or hiring managers, reaching out alone is not gonna make a huge difference. It's more about how you want to be seen. As I said, just saying, hi, are you, I'm looking for a position. I saw your company and this company is really cool. I can contribute your company XYZ. That is not going to give you the result that you're looking for. As I said, we need to know what problem they have, or what areas that they're trying to focus as a company as a whole. And then we need to approach them as a solution. So that's that. Okay, so that's that. And here we have, as I said, this is the backbone of how you can get certified interviews in 30 days and a job offer in 90 days. So basically, you can screenshot it as well, but I'm going to share with you the recording. So this is I love structure. So I need to know what's going to happen from day 0 to 30, 30 to 60, 60 to 90. So we can reverse engineer everything. This is just one example. This is not the only way to make that happen. But for us to be able to get a job within 90 days, these things need to happen. Usually the first month is the most busiest and the month where that requires a lot of foundational work, market research, expertise, finding out, like identifying expertise niche. We need to know the target companies, right? And strategies to implement and personal branding. And then 30 to 60, this is, we need to do all of this. And then the second month, we need to be in a situation where we are busy with having interviews. And also a lot of people, some of them like get like a couple interviews, but then they don't get the job offer at the end. And it's really frustrating because you've prepare so much, you're investing a lot of time preparing interviews, but then like after second, third interviews, final stage, you're not getting an offer. It's so frustrating. But so that's why my goal is for you to have almost like 100% success rate. Whenever you go for an interview, we want to make sure that you are getting a job, because at the end of the day, no matter how competitive that job interview is, one person is going to get a job at the end of the day. And we want to make sure that you are the person. So, but we always, we don't want to put all our eggs into one basket. If we are only, a lot of people also tend to make mistakes during the stage is that when you have like, oh yeah, I finally secured one interview, or I finally secured 2 interviews, but then we are focusing 100% of our times into that interview. But we need to continue doing what we have done, which is, our personal branding and doubling down on the things that actually works. If, when we implement different strategy, if something is working, let's say if you implemented, LinkedIn profile optimization, or if you implemented a strategy where you're reaching out to companies directly and it's working, then we need to double down on that strategy. If something is not working, we need to pivot, right? If you thought like maybe like you thought like during the market research stage, you thought like, oh, maybe like this specific role might be a best role for me to find a job abroad, but actually it's not working at all, then we might need to pivot. So sometimes pivot needs to, but pivot, if something is not working, to be able to gauge whether this is working or not working, we need to be super busy here so that we can decide whether we need to double it down or we need to pivot, or what is going wrong, right? If we just like test the market with just like 10 applications or not doing much, it's very difficult for us to say it's time to pivot, right? So that's it. And then like 60 to 90, this is a stage where we really need to focus on like this is stage where we're gonna make sure we get a lot of interviews going on. Even like you have interviews in the stage like final stage or third stage, we still need to make sure we have like one or two interviews going on here, so that like you're not. And also it's a mindset thing, when you have only one interview, we become super desperate. People can sense someone's desperation so easily, and we want to make sure that we have many opportunities in in our pipeline, quote unquote, so that we can also increase our win rate as well. So that's just one example. This is not the only way, but one example that I believe in, how we can get a job offer within 90 days. I haven't been able to see any chats there, but I see 81 chats that I haven't seen. So I love it. I'm going to see very soon, but like 74 people still sticking with me. I love it. I'll speed up. Okay. So there's the number 3, sell, right? This is a stage. This is something that, let's say if you've been already applying for some jobs and if you've, already got some interviews, but like, let's say, after the first round, you don't really get into the next round, then this is very important stage for you, because selling yourself and selling your experience and skill sets during the interview is super, super important. It's all about the perceived value and how you position yourself. Okay. So for example, let's see, instead of during the interview, for example, instead of only summarizing your past and present experience achievements, right? I think I told you a little bit about this during the mistake section. And a lot of people tend to, what we tend to do is, oh yeah, like tell me about yourself, walk me through your resume. Then we summarize, oh yeah, at this company I've done this, in the previous company I've done this, and I generated X amount of revenues and stuff like that, which is great, which is what we need to do. We always need to talk about like because like people judge our future result and achievement based on our historical pattern, historical achievement, which is very important. However, just talking about summarizing our past and present experience achievement is not future pacing. They cannot connect if that is not helping them to connect the dots between the current with the future, then it's not doing a lot of persuasion there. So instead of doing that, we need to highlight experience and achievements that are highly valued for the job and for the company, and on top of that, you need to be able to connect the dots between the past experience and past achievements with the company. That's why reading really read thoroughly of the job description is super important, so that we can connect the dots as well. Yeah. And then pitching in a future pacing, so that like they can visualize it, they can clearly visualize the impacts, the tangible impacts that you will bring. So for example, as an example, instead of you saying, oh, at my current company I've done this, in the previous company I've done this, instead of finishing your sentence here, one example can be, I've done this and this, and I saw that your company, this role required, when I joined, as a digital marketing manager at your company, I understand that I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and based off of our experience and my achievements, I'm going to do this job in this way, something like that. So they can kind of visualize in a way, and they can also see that you actually done some research about the job too. So yeah, so that's about the selling stage. And one of the things that I want to talk a little bit more about here is, a storytelling skill. I don't know if anyone is familiar with Pathos Logos Ethos. If anyone is, familiar with this, let me know in the chat. But it's basically Aristotle's theory. So Pathos. So basically, it means is this. Many people tend to think that in the what was that, like in interview, we want to make sure that like during the 30-minute or even like 40-minute interview session, we want them to know that we can actually really get the job done. We are so smart, we're really good, we have like great achievements, yada yada yada. So we tend to kind of like spend a lot of energy and time talking about the data. Oh yeah, we in this job I actually managed this amount of deals, and then I closed this and I did that. And also we want to have like this authority. We want to build authority, and meaning that we want them to know that, hey, I've done this. I've led a team of this. And I can do the job and stuff like that, which is very important. But surprisingly, people actually interview, it depends. Okay, so this is briefly speaking, every stage of the interview, it requires slightly different strategy. If you are having an interview with the recruiter or the first stage, you definitely want to make sure that you want to make sure them to know that you tick all the boxes, right? But especially after the hiring manager level, the second, third, fourth interview, we definitely need to make sure to touch on the pathos. So pathos means is emotion, and logos is logic and data, and ethos is your authority builder. So basically, people make decisions based on pathos, meaning when interviewers, especially when they are hiring, especially during the hiring manager interview, this is super important. When they interview people at that stage, they are probably interviewing people who have like similar skills and experience that you have already. So now the matter is whether this person can feel that they can trust you, right? Trust is such a big word, but like, sometimes like you want to make them feel that like, oh, like my gut feeling tells me to hire this person. My gut feeling tells me that I can trust this person, that kind of thing. So we make decisions based on emotions, and we try to, we try to back by, the support our emotions with data. That's why we need logos and ethos, like data as well. But my point here is that because of this, people make decisions based on emotions. We cannot, during the interview stage, we cannot just talk about our experience. We cannot just talk about our achievements. That's why we need to talk about stories, and then we need to be able to connect the dots between the point A that they're in and point B that we can contribute after during the company. This is just a brief kind of summary of this. Let's recap. We talked a lot, and it's been almost 2 hours, 1 hour and a half. So thanks for sticking with me. Let me drink water. Just a sip water. Okay. So let's recap. So we talked about 3 different mistakes, right? So mistakes, these are the biggest mistakes that you need to avoid. We all need to avoid, right? First thing is targeting wrong companies and jobs. And second, putting all eggs into one basket. Third, not selling ourselves persuasively. Yeah. I'm going to send you recording files. So if you don't remember every single details, go back and check it out. Check the recording. You'll be able to kind of write down and kind of like, digest a little bit, at your own pace. But these are the mistakes. Highly, if you're making any of these mistakes, I highly recommend avoiding these mistakes. Okay, then what can we do, right? What, instead of like, making these mistakes, how can we implement new strategies, and how can we get a job offer within 90 days, and how can we get interviews within 30 days, right? This is a magnetic talent formula, right? Validate, attract, sell, right? This is a 3 different stages, right? Validate. You need to know the job market. You need to know, your skills and expertise that will be highly valued in the companies and in the countries that you are looking for, right? As I said earlier, in the mistakes section, broadly speaking, there are 3 different reasons why employers overseas are looking for talent overseas, right? So we always need to kind of like think from the employer's perspective. Why would they go through all the hassles just to hire me, right? Because we're the solution to them, right? And then the next one is attract, right? We're gonna, we talked about personal branding, right? Personal branding is not, about like your, social media stuff. Personal branding is about like what people talk about you when you're not there with them, right? So it happens like, even at your workplace, and also, after the interview, or, it's all based off of like, how do I want to be perceived, right? How do I want to be known for, right? So that's how you are going to make the most out of from coffee chats that you're having, and networking events that you're going to, and all the networks that you're expanding to, because even if you just go to, let's say, 2 networking events, you make the most out of it. You get the result that you're looking for because you know how you want to be perceived by these people. Even if that person is not the decision maker, or even if that person is not, can't give you the job today, you become so memorable by this person. After meeting you, that person has one word that can describe you. That's personal branding, right? That's why it's all interconnected. If you become generalist, you're not going to be memorable especially by strangers, and including interview as well. You want people to remember you with this 1 or 2 words maximum, right? To achieve this, by being a specialist, we can achieve this. And then the last one on the list is sell, right? At the end of the day, for us to get a job offer, we need to be able to sell our skills and experience as well to the employers overseas. That's why they see us as, the solution they need. They can, okay, the solution for their companies. So they go through all the hassles to hire you. All right. So that's all I got today. Well, thanks for sticking with me. But now is a Q&A time. But we have 66 people. Thank you. I think earlier we started off like with 100 plus. But I'm very grateful that you guys are sticking with me. Thank you so much. I know it's your precious time. But I will make sure to send you